is about lifting the curtain on new worlds. As a second grader, I became fascinated with the space art in a science textbook, these otherworldly vistas of what it might look like on the moons of Jupiter and Saturn and other two outer planets, Uranus and Neptune. And since then, for the rest of my life, I've loved art and science. So I went to the library to follow my passion to find pictures. What did these moons look like? And I was disappointed that the World Book Encyclopedia for Jupiter's moons, big moons, only showed 4 little dots. Saturn's moon Titan was just 1 little dot by the ring. So this was before the internet. There was no, I went to the adult library and there were no better pictures. I thought surely if I looked hard enough I could find them. But then I realized there were no pictures of these worlds that were any better. But this was the best time in history to wonder what those worlds looked like. Because it wasn't called the Space Age for no reason. And my grandmother's National Geographic were being filled with pictures of Mars. And not just Mars, but Mars's moons, Phobos and Deimos. But Mars' moons just look like potatoes, not real worlds. I knew that Jupiter's 4 big moons, Saturn's Titan, Neptune's Triton, were big enough to be real worlds. And sure enough, as I grew older, NASA sent the Pioneer and Voyager spacecraft to visit these worlds. And I followed my passion into college, just as Voyager was going through these spacecraft. But I heard that astronomy jobs were hard. And now all through school, my main issue was to participate. And I was always talking about science so much that I really annoyed the other kids. I was a science nerd, always correcting the teacher and giving more, I knew more about science than they do. But the kids got me back. Valentine's Day, when everyone else was getting romantic cards, I just got the outer space cards. Boring getting 5 of the same ones. But as Voyager went by Jupiter's moons and revealed the volcanoes of Io and the oceans of Europa, and turned these dots into pictures that people posted on physics and astronomy department walls, I chose to be practical that I would do nuclear physics and that I could find out about the little worlds, just as good as the big worlds. But as I went through university and Voyager went by Triton and revealed it to be a world with smog thicker than Beijing, I began to also learn that even nuclear physics, the jobs weren't so great, and I began to return to my passion. So after many years of voyaging, when Voyager in 1989 went by, it had gone by Uranus and went by Neptune and saw Triton with its geysers, I had decided that I wanted to find worlds that hadn't been even discovered, worlds around other solar systems. Now, all the worlds except one, all the planets except for Pluto had been revealed. And so when I graduated, I didn't get a job in nuclear physics, I got a job at Caltech. And I pointed my arrow to astronomy far away. And doing solar astronomy at Caltech was a good bet. And it became a particularly good bet when during that year, the first seminal planet around a sun-like star was found, the first really well-known one. And that just exploded the field of extrasolar planets. And so I was able to get a job at the interferometer at Georgia State that was able to, when looking at stars, have better resolution than the Hubble telescope. And then I was able to get a job at a new global telescope. And this would put me in position for the Kepler telescope, which is now discovering new planets around other stars. I thought I was set until one day I got woken up by my boss, who called to talk about things that had nothing to do with work. He said, "We can't have this kind of behavior." Oh, I thought being thrown out with that kind of sentence was so funny, I had to take up stand-up comedy. I tried to say this was funny. But that led me to storytelling, where I'm here, because to use storytelling as a way to take back my participation. And so for several years, I've been pounding away, trying some way to get back. And I found discoveries in the patterns of extrasolar planets. Just like revealing the new worlds of the solar system. And as I was thrown out, it happened just after Pluto had been demoted. I felt like all the astronomers were looking at me as if I were Pluto, that they were wearing their t-shirts, "Save the Earth," but screw Pluto. I had been thrown out of the club. But Pluto being thrown out, it gave a well-deserved boost to the other dwarf planet that got raised, Ceres. And NASA sending probes to open the vistas of Pluto and Ceres. That I'm doing a mini campaign, making my discoveries and telling people that next year, 2015, NASA spacecraft will visit Pluto and Ceres and reveal these worlds. And my discoveries, where I have found that planets are going into their stars like lemmings jumping off of a cliff, that this discovery will make my participation clear, so that I will be able to rejoin participation in science and be able to say, as you all watch the pictures next year of Pluto and Ceres become clear, that not only is participation the purpose of science, participation is the purpose of life. Thank you.